Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder to the RE251. And today I have three gameplays for you with three distinctively different playstyles. The first one is controlled aggression, basically rushing into a position where the enemy does not expect you to be there. The very good mobility of the RE251 allows it to get away with it, and also not just only intercept the enemy players as they move to the front line, or the front line that is then about to be established, but it also prevents the enemy team from pulling off certain ambushes. It gives a lot of information to your team if you use the tank correctly. Light tanks have a lot of tools at their disposal, next to the artillery strike and the ability to help teammates to be repaired much quicker. They also can scout, and they also still have something called a gun, which might or might not be useful. So here I use this bunker hill, if you will, with some very nice ridgelines. I dropped the artillery strike just as the enemy began to capture B, and now I want to scout. I want to use the binoculars to just scout the enemies, because it allows me to get those tanks killed. It gives my team information. It prevents the enemies from pulling off those ambushes, as I said. And also it prevents just simply them getting away with it. And I still don't fire, so I don't give away my position. But this tank, way too juicy of a shot, directly hitting here the top of the ammo rack, blowing it up. Now the enemy team is also a bit confused. This M26 is just merely driving along, but the other one noticed me and now is waiting for me to peek out, and he wants then to kill me. There are some other tanks again, well, one less now, T-34 kill. I should have focused here on the artillery, as he then saw his teammate explode, and he obviously can spray me down. Maybe this tank, this French autoloader, has a little bit more of a resistance to those flak shells, but not me. He's still waiting, he's not advancing. I scout him, and just a few moments later, well, my team does what my team does best. They destroyed the scout target. That gives me just more flexibility. I now know that the northern flank is mostly secure. I scout here then further for enemy targets, for enemy tanks. And there is one right in front of me. I scout him. I can do this without exposing any portion of my tank. This is very useful. And again, I am looking here behind me. I just try to figure out what I can do. So this is putting pressure on the enemy by scouting them, by interrupting their advance. And that helps then my team to get into position, especially the more slower units. The heavy tanks, most of all, or heavy tank destroyers, they have more time to position themselves, which is an advantage that you must not underestimate. So here I just look around and I try to figure out what I can do next. Eventually this position will get compromised. My team is in a heavy battle. They struggle a little bit in the north. One tank is moving up to B, and yeah. Where are the enemies? More and more tanks are coming. I try to scout them. There is the other one. Now, such Sherman tanks, they are also pretty dangerous because they have a vertical stabilizer. They can snapshot you. You can't do the same. The RE251 doesn't have really a stabilizer. It is far from the power of an Object Nano 6 in my books, but it is also still very powerful. Now, this is one of those tanks, I'll talk in just a minute about this, that I have a problem with, right? So all good things must come to an end, and P-47 D-28 just solves the problem. So aircraft, they just can counter everything with bombs, rockets, even machine guns. Second gameplay on the second map, and this time we are on a winter map. We are at Stalingrad, and there are a lot of buildings that you can drive in and around. So this allows for a different approach to the tactical playstyle. Now, whereas I tried to hold a specific position, which was very beneficial for my team in terms of killing enemy tanks, supporting both flanks with artillery strikes, and also scouting the enemies, really disturbing their advance, this time I tried to play around a single capture point, a little bit behind, like an operation behind enemy front lines. And again, I drive very quickly into position. But again, you have to control this aggressive playstyle. It's not just rushing in and trying your luck. You're missing the stabilizer for doing so. And also, you don't have an autoloader like the Object Nano 6. Remember, I think the Object Nano 6 had once a battle rating of 7.0, if I'm not mistaken. So here, I just stop. And I try to listen. I also blend in quite nicely here with the white camouflage, although that's not a guarantee. And A gets captured, I dropped an artillery strike on it, and I move on. I didn't hear anything. And now I make a little bit of a misplay, but thanks to my positioning, I get away with it. A Panther tank is moving up, and the M41 Walker Bulldog decides to run and tries to escape. And I just couldn't get the gun on target, but I scouted him through the wall. Nice scouting mechanic, War Thunder. Really love it. Now, the next thing is I watched a replay, and behind the house to the right there is also a Jumbo Sherman, but I just simply didn't see him, I didn't hear him, although very briefly there was the muzzle flash visible, or at least the cloud of dust being kicked off. Now I use the fantastic reverse mobility of the RE251 to save myself a few more additional seconds in terms of, not turning around. And again, I tried to listen careful, and what did I just hear? I heard something. I stop, I look around, and there is an enemy tank. I scout him before I then move up. Now the scouting allows not just for your team to scout the enemy tanks. Also, if you switch positions, you still can keep track of them, quite literally. So I dunked here again the shell into the concrete, but so did the IS-2. The advantage of the RE251 is that it reloads much quicker. Now I have all the time in the world, easy kill. And again, I try to vanish, again I try to reposition myself. So this is not the more or less static gameplay that I played in the first battle. And again, I use the reverse gear to switch position. It would be tempting to go into A, but I have my spider senses telling me there is a bit more action going around this capture point, as is ideal. So again, we scout here the M41 Walker Bulldog, and then we see that there is a T-29. First, we get his gun breach and kill a crew member, which is very nice. Then I see also a Super Pershing, which I also scout. And let's see what we can do. This is risky because I'm also between the capture point, and therefore also the front line, and the enemy's spawn point. So here we can easily M-rack the Super Pershing, because I know where the ready rack is placed, and it's quite a big target, so easy shot right there. And then I try to kill here this other tank, but actually again I think the shell deviated a little bit to the left. The Walker Bulldog has no idea where I am, and I want to kill this T-29 because it's a much tougher target. I'd love to have here APAG, because that would have been a kill for sure. But yeah, just didn't happen. And I just can't kill here the tank by shooting at the bottom ammo rack. The shell again bounces upward and doesn't kill the driver, which I aimed for. So let's hope that we can make another shot. It was a bit too high again, because the gunner is on the other side. Let's try it a bit aiming lower. Yep, there we go. Now, it's definitely a bit too hot, and I have been here for much too long, and we need to reposition. And as planned, there is a T-34-85, and undoubtedly he has seen me. He stopped, and he looked my way. So I am now in the defense, but I think that I can work around this. The problem is, if he baits my shot like this, and I don't track him, then he has all the time in the world to push me. So I let him now try his baiting stuff, because I need to kill the driver, and I must not shoot, but therefore you have some light machine guns, and so we killed the M56 Scorpion before the T-34-85 could come around the corner, and now he tries to bait my shot more aggressively. And there, as planned, we actually get the driver. I now switch to hash because it allows me to get the spalling into the tank and kill the rest of the crew. Nice. A further 2 kills and that's the ace. So let's again scan the situation. Are there any more tanks visible? No, my team has successfully used the advantage and captured A. There is still a heavy tank around, but I am confident that my team is able to deal with it. Take your time, calm down, assess the situation, and let's move on. I'm looking into the direction of the enemy's spawn, and nothing's there. I hear something, I look around, and through the gap of this shielding, I see another tank. Obviously I cannot shoot through because the heat shell would detonate on contact, and it's also a pretty risky shot. I move through this and the tank is gone. That indicates a rather quick tank. So with the heat shell you can hull break those light tanks, and I decide to not use the machine guns and rather go for the one shot, because it just is, as funny as it sounds, giving your position away less than that. So now I come from the other side, and what is that? Oh, that's the Walker Bulldog. Hello, good sir. And now we finally get the shot in, but we just missed the one shot, and now he knows that I'm there. And again, I forgot to scout him. I need to really train this light tank gameplay a bit more, to always be aware of all the amount of tools that you have. Remember, you can, aside from your firepower and your mobility, you have the scouting ability, you have an artillery strike, and you can help your teammates repairing. This is very, very powerful if you know how to use it. So that was a cupola, again looking like an IS-2, and thanks to the heavy machine gun on top of it, it must be the IS-2 1944 and not the premium version. Just a little detail there. And I just missed him, and we kill here finally the Walker Bulldog. Mate, you have played long enough now. And now let's kill the IS-2, shall we? So for a moment I thought that he would have seen me, but he's looking the other way. Now he shoots, I have a lot of time, and obviously because it's me, I dunked the shot above him. Ugh. So I need to be careful because the heavy machine gun still can penetrate the side of the turret, and now I am just playing a little bit with him. At this point I could switch to the hash round, which probably was better because here I missed the ammo rack. But now I can specifically aim for the driver. I angle a little bit versus the heavy machine gun. Good night, sweetheart. 7th kill. No, 8th kill, actually. This is nice. This is nice. Now, one final trick that I need to show you in this gameplay is, if you are going into the capture zone after this kind of shooting, you have depleted your ready rack quite a lot. You still have enough ammunition left, but if you are getting back ammunition, it not just gets you more to shoot, but also it fills automatically the ready rack first. And with just standing still and not shooting, you also get some of your shells from the normal ammo rack into the ready rack as well. So this gives you a lot of advantages. 3 to 4 shells in the ready rack is always nice to keep up the high rate of fire. With that having done, I move on and I try my luck here. I try my luck, and again I go into the safety of this building. Going here over this hill is risky, no doubt about this. I have a Panther with me, and now again let's scan the situation. We have the enemy on the run. Now even B is captured, so we have all the objectives, but there are still quite a few of enemy tanks around, and also enemy aircraft are just lurking in the vicinity, and I'm quite sure that if they concentrate on me, even with 50 cals, if they know how to shoot, they can disable me, set me on fire, kill my crew, all the not so nice stuff. And while you have some quick firing machine guns, to track an aircraft with them is not the best thing to do. So here again, I then throw away all the carefulness, all the patience, and I just try to move in. Where are the enemies? I don't know. I haven't looked through the gap, but the Panther saw me. I tried to reverse just a touch too late, and I get killed after 8 kills. But we have the enemy firmly on the run. We have secured all 3 capture zones. I killed a lot of the enemy team. And yeah, then I tried to go back into the Tiger, but for the last 6 minutes of this match, I have no contact with the enemy, showing how lackluster the mobility of the Tiger 2 is. And the result, 76,000 civilians, 12,300 vehicle research points, a nice epic medal award, if you will. And we also did a bit of scouting. 6 tanks scouted, 8 tanks killed. So that is quite impressive. First in team with nearly 2,300 score points, easily topping the leaderboard. Let's move on to the third and final gameplay, shall we? And this is actually played on Hürtgen Forest. And there is a single cap, so I absolutely need to combine the 2 playstyles. I need to hold my position, but I need to play around the dedicated capture zone. And yeah, on this map with this capture zone layout, you know that the enemy is also concentrating obviously on this. So I need to aggressively push here into a early game advantage positioning. Every map, every site has some dedicated positions where you have some hard cover, you can peek out and you can scout the enemies, you can drop artillery on them, and you can also create a crossfire, which is the absolute master plan for this match. Now, this is the theory, how you execute it if you combine it with situational awareness and execute your planning, the positioning, and you find a balance between patience and pushing at the right moment. It's not so easy. So we spotted the first enemy, we scouted him, and now I need to really be careful here. He got actually destroyed, which is more than good enough. I scout here another tank, and I hope that he's not really getting aware of me too quick. I also hope that the rest of my team is moving up, and I aimed a little bit too low, and magically the heat shell doesn't penetrate the IS-6. They're shooting at me with the machine guns, but I still tried, and this guy, man, he has the luck of the Russians. Yes, I misplayed here, but so much luck, only the Russians really have it. So Leopard is moving up. I see now the IS-6 moving into positioning around A, and I must not allow this guy to capture it. Now he's standing still, now I can aim precisely, and finally he goes down. So this was very important. I spotted here an enemy tank, and he actually dunks the heat shell into the tree. This was the best of luck for all the week, so not so much luck for the rest of the match, right? And now look at the minimap. This half circle that my team is creating allows us to crossfire the enemy effectively all the time. And I'm constantly scouting the enemy tanks. This allows my team to position themselves, to know that there is a tank in cover, and also how to drop an artillery strike with a bit more precision. And over time, you know, those tanks get tracked, some gun barrels get knocked out, maybe some lightly armored tanks get destroyed in the process. It is a huge annoyance, and they practically get shell-shocked all the time, which is to our team's benefit. Now, the RE251 also has obviously this very strong heat shell for the battle rating, 320mm of penetration, and this is just the best firepower that the Germans get for quite some time. And yep, there we just hull broke the T-92. This was practically my American counterpart. Not so much with the firepower, but definitely with the scouting, and also having the advantage of having a mixture of not so great heat, but also APDS, which is something, solid shots, that the RE251 lacks. Sometimes in city fights that's a little bit annoying. You can't shoot through the bushes and the trees and the fences, which you can absolutely with the APDS. So again, a very good shot here into an American tank. And I now try to figure out where this tank is shooting. This one just got deleted. I aimed a bit too low. Just a few inches, but that was good enough to let my shell dip into the dirt. Now this peekaboo gameplay is dangerous. If somebody is looking at me, one shell is all that it takes. Watch that Jagdpanzer für 5. He is not positioning him very careful, and the M48 on the other side killed him. So let's just scout him again. Okay, good stuff. So where is the next target? What is that? Is that an object 120? Let's kill him, right? And oh, he looks my direction. Oh, that was close. That was way too much luck for my taste. Well, for a change, it is again in my favor. And this enemy tank, I don't know, it's definitely an American heavy tank, but I never can decide between if it is a T-29, if it is a T-30, if it is a T-34. Object 120 burning nicely. This is how I like my Russian tanks in War Thunder the most, burning quite nicely. And so we pinned the enemies down. We now have we are putting pressure on the enemy, the tickets are bleeding constantly, and we are in a perfect position to stop any advance dead. And again, this is now positioning. You can see I was playing around this ridgeline quite a lot, and this tank is dead. Now, I practically mis-scouted, right? And that now puts me on a penalty with, in terms of scouting, of nearly a minute. Whereas the cooldown with a successful scouting is, what, 10 seconds? 15 seconds? Something like this. So this is really painful. And those enemy tanks that are looking my way, they absolutely know that I'm there. But a lot of people have just been killed for good in this match. They don't have the spawn points to join back and to, yeah, spawn again. So we thinned out the enemy's lines perfectly, either by scouting them or by outright killing them. And again, somebody shot at me. So something of my tank was visible, and again it is this pesky M48. So I know that he's there. And again, the scouting ability is so powerful, he cannot really do the same. He can scout me, and now A got decaptured. I immediately react to it, and I see that there is an enemy tank. I scouted him, and a quick heat shell solves the Lorraine 40T problem. So now one of my team members is again moving towards A, and the T-29 just again successfully killed him. Can we finally get rid of him? Come on. Shooting between the bushes, and finally we get the driver. So, 6th kill so far. I think I've done my job pretty well. Now there is a second team member now capturing A. Let's hope that we can support him as well. Let's have a look at the M48. Where is he? There he is. And he's moving up. Can we now connect a shot? The answer is no, because he just reversed as I pulled the trigger. What a Neo tank, right? But we have him scouted, which is an advantage. My team knows that he's there, at least if they are looking at the minimap. Good aim, and god damn it, this was bad, because I didn't have an APHE shell. I couldn't really do damage by panning here the cupola. And now a plane is coming in. Fun police incoming! And now let's move, let's move, let's move, let's move. Can we hit him? The answer is yes. He whiffs the light bombs above me. Bad aim by him. The BF-109E3 tries to shoot him down. I tried to support here with my light machine gun, but the elevation speed isn't all that great on this tank, and so this plane actually moves. I should have shot right there, and now I need to retreat. Oh, that's a big bomba mama! And he actually bombs the BF-109E out of the sky. Nicely played by the AM-1 Mauler. A lot of machine gun fire is coming his way. He tried his best. At least he got the surprise award. And finally, the M48 also goes down. We get an assist on it by a Leopard. But sadly, the Panther II got killed by a T-29. So where is the T-29? Where is the T-29? Come on, where is he? Oh, there he is! And he didn't see me. Well, that's a bit of luck if you ask me. So let's disable his firepower. I got the gunner and the loader. Sadly, the gun breach is only orange, but he's holding still. I think he has given up. And yes, we got our 7th kill, right? And now you can see that the team has moved up to the enemy's spawn. So the enemy team is now firmly broken. But there is one more thing, and that is we will have to look at the results in just a moment. So I make here a little bit of a cut because I don't get any more action or any more kills. And this time, finally, I survive 7 kills, 2 kill assists, and 26 targets scouted. Now, one little thing here for Gaijin, please increase the reward for scouting. This is active team play, right? We topped the leaderboard easily with 2,602 score points. That was a very good result. 84,000 civilians and 12,660 vehicle research. Without a big booster, I think there is only a 10% RP booster. And those are the 3 different playstyles in the RE251. You need to arrange the patience, the positioning, and the pushing, again with your situational awareness, map control, and also controlling all the tools that you have available and using them to the max. So, an early aggressive advance, a dedicated playing around a capture point, operating behind enemy lines, and just killing the enemy light tanks in particular, allows then your team to move up. And also the scouting game is very important when you are in the conflict with an enemy team around a single capture point. That's it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, give it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.